Redbad, the king of the Frisians. Who was he? Well, sadly, there's not a lot known about the life of Redbad. A lot of details are missing out because, after all, he lived well over 1,200 years ago. But he was a pagan hero, and he is declared often by many scholars as the last independent leader of the Frisians in their struggle against the Frankish Empire. It is unsure when Redbad was born. I've done some research and I can't find a reliable date. I would assume he was born sometime between around 670 AD, 670, 680. Now, Redbad was a very interesting character. He is most famous for his quote, probably. He was almost converted to Christianity. He was almost baptized by the Bishop Wulfram. It's unsure what year this was, but he was almost converted. It seems that Christianity in this phase in European history, when trying to convert the leaders of the northern European lands, they usually bribed them with promises of power and promises of riches, shiny things. Redbad was about to be baptized, but he asked the Bishop Wulfram if he would see his ancestors in heaven. And when Wulfram replied that his ancestors were pagan and that they were in hell, Redbad balks, steps back, and says that he would rather spend an eternity in hell with his ancestors than going to heaven with a pack of beggars and the Franks, who are his arch enemies. Redbad had a very violent life, by all accounts. I believe it was in the year 689, shortly after he became king. He was defeated by Pepin of Herstal, and he had to retreat with his army. It is up to debate where exactly he retreated to. Some have said he went north to Denmark. Some said he retreated to the island of Heligoland, I think is how you pronounce it. But they are unsure. We don't hear much about Pepin until the later years. After his defeat at the hands of Pepin, he had to cede Dorstad, an important trading city. I can't pronounce. It's a little chilly out here today. But we don't hear much about him until later on in the early 700s. In the year 716, Redbad defeated the Frankish Emperor Charles Martel. So Redbad secured a huge victory at the Battle of Cologne in the year 716. It is the only defeat that Charles Martel ever suffered. That's a pretty amazing achievement, I believe, certainly. Redbad, though, eventually Frisia, which I don't know if I mentioned earlier, Frisia is the region of the modern day Netherlands, perhaps parts of Belgium. And the Frisians, of course, were a Germanic tribe. They were amongst the last to be Christianized. See, the predecessor to Redbad, his name was Aldegilus, and he had welcomed Christianity into the kingdom of the Frisians. But upon Aldegillus's death, some have speculated that Aldegillus was actually Redbad's father, but judging from his quote that I mentioned earlier, I don't think that this is true. And considering Redbad's campaign to resist the Christianization and the abandonment of his native European faith, unfortunately, Redbad died in the year 719. Honestly, we're unsure of exactly how he died. But after his defeat of Charles Martel, it really shocked the Frankish kingdom and the Merovingian dynasty. It is said, shortly before his death, there was rumor that he was raising a large army and was coming to Francia to exact revenge for past losses. And it is said that the people in Francia, upon hearing of Redbad's return, were in great fear and trembled horribly. So yeah, I think Redbad is a very interesting figure. The way I see it, he was just a pagan hero who was trying to preserve his people's native European faith and trying to preserve their way of life. Thank y'all for watching. Bye-bye.